Welcome back. New this morning, Tehran seeking the involvement of Russia and China in latest ceasefire negotiations. Iran claims it is to ensure, quote, any proposal from the Trump administration is not a deception tactic, unquote. Tehran has yet to provide a response to President Trump's 15-point plan, which he submitted last week. It comes as Iran is turning away 2 Chinese-owned container vessels, according to reports, from crossing the Strait of Hormuz on Friday morning. Joining me now is the Gatestone Institute senior fellow, Gordon Chang. Gordon, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So President Trump's trip to China is set for May 14th and 15th now. We know that China has been complicit this whole time, sending components to Iran, and now we're getting more evidence of it this morning. Your reaction?
Yeah, President Trump shouldn't go to the capital of an enemy combatant, especially as long as this war continues. We know that China has supplied continuously all sorts of weapons and other things that the Iranians need. We learned from administration officials last week that China's CIMIC, their largest chip maker, was sending chip-making tools to the Iranians starting about a year ago. This is not a good story. So until this war is won, I don't think the president should appear eager to go to Beijing.
Yeah, I mean, so many optics here, right? I mean, I wish that they didn't say, oh, I'll be there in May. Because now May 14th and 15th is in the books. But you're right. China's largest chip maker, SMIC or SMIC, sent chip-making tools to the Iranian military. It's drawing more attention to Beijing's role in this conflict. 2 senior Trump administration officials say that transaction began a year ago, Gordon, saying that the tools could be used for any electronics that need chips. So, I mean, do you think this comes up in the conversation between the president and Xi Jinping? It has to, right?
It absolutely has to. There are so many things that we absolutely have to bring up to the Chinese, even though they are uncomfortable for Beijing, because, you know, Beijing is assaulting us across the board. And if you're going to have that conversation, you got to deal with those issues, and you got to deal with them in public. You can't just talk about it behind the closed doors. The Chinese just love that because they don't like being embarrassed. But at some point, we're going to have to change the way that we talk to Beijing, because the way we've been doing now for 3 decades just ain't working.
Yeah, well, you've got a bipartisan group of senators, meanwhile, planning to go to Taiwan in the coming days ahead of the president's visit in May. This trip is meant to bolster U.S. alliances with Taiwan and deter China's growing aggression to go in there. We've got new satellite imagery showing China assembling a fleet of drones near Taiwan. There were at least 200 of Beijing's J-6W drones being deployed to bases across the Taiwan Strait, Gordon. What are your expectations on Taiwan?
Well, Taiwan has been quiet recently. The Chinese pressure on the island, both on the surface of the sea and in the air. What we have been seeing, though, in the last 5 or 6 days is really belligerent activity against the Philippines, particularly at 2 locations. One of them, Scarborough Shoal, which has been a flashpoint since early 2012, and Tithu Island. You know, just every week there's a different place in the South China Sea where China does something extremely belligerent. You know, next week they'll be pressuring Taiwan. The week after that will be Japan. The week after that, South Korea. It is just going on and on. And of course, this is something else that the United States needs to say, not only in private, but also in public, that China has to stop this, because this activity can lead to the world's next war. And if there's one more war now, that makes global conflict.
Yeah. Meanwhile, China is retaliating against the ruling in Panama. The ruling, of course, was to void C.K. Hutchinson's port leases. Beijing has now detained and inspected nearly 70 Panama-linked shipping vessels at their ports since March 8th. And Beijing is warning that Panama could, quote, pay a heavy price, further halting new investments into the country, Gordon. I was thrilled to see the Panama Supreme Court make this ruling. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, because a lot of those Panamanian flag container ships carry goods either to or from American ports, we are being disproportionately affected. You know, China will use every point of leverage to obtain what it wants. You know, this whole notion that there's a rules-based order, well, China has just destroyed that. And it's important for the United States to say that, because if we do want a world that is ruled by other than power, we are going to have to get the Chinese to comply one way or the other. This is something where, we have tried to entice the Chinese into good behavior, but we see again and again China breaking rules in order to get what it wants, and we do very little about it. We do not impose costs on unacceptable Chinese behavior, especially when it affects us. I don't understand this at all, Maria.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, China has been so complicit on so much of this. I'm wondering, I mean, the president understands who he's dealing with. He knows his customer here. He's likely going to continue and go through with that trip in May, because how could he pull out again? But all of these things, no doubt, will be on the table, Gordon. Anything else strike you about China's relationship with Iran and how it's undermining the United States in all of this?
We just lost an AWACS plane in Saudi Arabia, and the Russians and the Chinese almost certainly supplied the information to Iran for targeting purposes. That was a grievous loss for us. There's got to be some costs on China for continuing its support of Iran.
Yeah, and that was an early warning jet, which gives early warnings to, intelligence to the region's officials and troops on the ground. And the Wall Street Journal reported that a replacement of that jet will cost $700 million. That was a real loss, you're right. And you're saying the reason that they knew where that jet was is because China provided the information.
Yes, from even before this war started, you had a private Chinese company, Maser Vision, showing the location of U.S. military assets in the region, along with specific coordinates. And then we have that large Chinese intelligence ship just off Iranian waters. China's support for Iran is almost across the board. The only thing they don't do is they don't supply combat troops. But apart from that, China is there, and we need to recognize that, because if we don't recognize it, China will continue to supply that information, which means we're not fighting to win. We're fighting not to anger China. And that is wrong, because if we continue to do that, we could very well lose this conflict.
Yeah, great points all around, and especially that comment on the jet. So important that we need to understand that China is providing this kind of intelligence. Gordon, great to see you. Thank you, sir. We'll keep following all of that.
Thank you, Maria.
Gordon Chang.